Okay, so here's my Stillman and Birn beta series sketchbook. The size of it I will put in the information box below because I don't remember it right now, and it's the extra heavy, I remember, paper. So let's go ahead and see what's inside there. So this is going to be part one because I got to the half of it, so it's I finished half of this book and decided to share it with you. So I started it on the 1st of May, and I called it my flower slash plant study just because I wanted to paint everything that is related to garden. And here is a note to self that I made. So I wanted to learn the structure of a flower slash plant, try to be free with drawing and painting, improve drawing techniques, discover my own art style, experiment with new watercolors. Daniel Smith is the watercolor that I was trying out at that point. Schminke I haven't tried at that point yet, and Mugello, so both of them I have tried. And I feel that coming to the half of it, I definitely have ticked all these boxes and I am quite happy now. So you will see a big change in my watercolors drawing. Now you might wonder what this is. This is just a clipping I have from a magazine. I quite like this picture. I'm going to start travel, is it travel notebook? Traveler's notebook, I think it's called. So I'm going to start that when I'm back to UK, and I want to keep that and just kind of journal about the holidays, I guess. So I don't know why I stuck it in here, but I did. So anyways, it's irrelevant to the sketchbook, but let's have a look. So the page starts here, and gardens at Anglesey Abbey. So I think we went on the 30th of April to a garden which was quite beautiful, and I took some pictures of this plant over here. I printed them out on my Canon selfie. Kind of need to play with it because I see so many great reviews, but I'm not too keen on it just yet because the colors that come out aren't true to life, I find. So anyway, so this is the little illustration I've done here. I really don't like it. The one that I do like is this one here. So there are a few notes about the plants and things like that. Here are some color swatches of the Daniel Smith that I used in this illustration, but as you can see, the illustration itself is very sort of basic, and the colors aren't right, and it's not really realistic, or it doesn't really, you know, if you look at this flower, you wouldn't immediately think of this flower. It just doesn't capture the essence of the flower, I find. So that's the first page. And then I have tried my Mugello paints right here. You can see how incredibly bright they are. They do have that beautiful watercolor flow here. Stunning colors, they flow beautifully one into another. And yeah, very happy with them. So I painted those peonies out of my head and called it Peony Rain, and then I made a little note here about the paints and things like that. So next page. Now this one was very experimental. I wasn't sure how I want my sketchbook to look, and it was just all over the place. So if I show you like that, hopefully you can see the full page like this. Basically over here I've used the Pro markers and done an illustration right here. The colors are written up here. I find it quite helpful when I do the color swatches. I don't know why, but I do like to do that in my sketchbook. Then here I just decided to do some random doodles. That is the main illustration, which I used the Magello Mission Gold watercolors for. And these came out a little bit unrealistic, especially the purple I find is a little bit too bright, so I decided to kind of make a sketch out of it more than a painting. Over here I have stuck a picture that I printed with my selfie, Canon selfie again. I used some washi tape. It's okay, I can't say I love this page, it's again all over the place. And then here I just journaled a little bit in terms of where I was, found that where I took the picture. This is actually wisteria, by the way. Doesn't really look like wisteria, maybe it does, but more of a sketched kind of wisteria. So here then I started my Schminke, but I have to write down that it's not Horadam, it's the Academy Schminke watercolors. So this is when I just received them, and I saw a picture in a gardening magazine and I really liked it, and so I decided to sketch or paint this rock sculpture with some nasturtium, I think, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. And so that's what I've done, and I quite liked it. I liked the colors and things like that. It was just the first experiment with the Schminke. Then I went on, and on the next page, the page opposite, I decided to do so. If I zoom out, hopefully you should see. I think from the same magazine, this is the Floral arrangement it's called, so let me just zoom in here, and these are the watercolors I used right on top there. And at this point I started noticing that the colors aren't as vibrant as I was hoping. So a little bit information of the floral arrangement. It was just a glass that I quite liked how it came out, with some grass here and there stuck in the glass at the bottom and top, and then the main flower was the Sweet Williams. So it looked quite pretty. I do like everything except for how the Sweet Williams came out. I think I should have detailed some of them and have less detail on others, just to break it up a little bit. But in general I am okay. Like I said, here I started kind of thinking, why are the colors not as vibrant? And like I said, I didn't realize, well, I ordered the Academy and I didn't realize that they were the student grades, which I actually wanted to order the artist grade, which would be the Horadam, Schminke Horadam. So here I went and done another illustration. This particular one is quite muted as it is. So it's a tin buff box garden, it's called. And it just had different plants here and there. Quite like how it came out. I like the background. I think it's quite balanced. I really like the way things look in this illustration. So so I'm quite happy with the illustration itself. On the other page, I decided to be a bit more experimental and paint an iris. So I was looking at an iris, and I decided to do my own version, being inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe's floral paintings, particularly her irises. The huge irises that she painted were beautiful, so I thought I'm going to do a dramatic version of the iris and pack in as many colors as I can to get colors going. But as you can see, some areas were great. I like these areas right here, and here just not enough really. So then I went on and I painted more, and I realized that purple, Schminke's Academy Purple, is the color I liked least. So I then decided to mix my own colors over here. And so this is the violet that comes with the 24 palette, and these are the two purples that I mixed using these colors, and I like them a lot more. And yeah, so if I just zoom in, this is what it looks like. It's kind of like a botanical basic painting, really. Then we have on the other page, if I zoom out again, on the other page we have a yellow iris, a different species type. And then here are the yellows that I used. I diluted some with water and some not diluted, and so you can see the vibrancy of them. So here when I started to really become frustrated with my schminke, let me just zoom out, this is a rose illustration. Here really everything is just muddled up. I couldn't get the colors to work, I couldn't get the colors to flow, they're very muted. I just was not liking it. And then I decided to do a rose with sort of more detailed floral work over here and see if that would be any better, and leave some white, because obviously this is not just to say the watercolor isn't great, it's to say that my technique isn't great in this one. So I was okay with this one, but still the colors did not pop at all. And when I was ordering schminke, you know, I knew everyone was saying how beautifully bright they are. So at that point I really became frustrated, and I thought, let me pull out my White Nights St. Petersburg watercolors, and here we go. Colors are right there, they're nice and bright, beautiful, beautiful colors. So I thought, what is going on? You can see this beauty, which didn't happen with the Schminke Academy, the flowing and literally the petal curling effect here, just by mixing the two colors, letting the two colors flow together. Yeah, just beautiful. So I decided to, on the other page next to it, I decided to do a side-by-side comparison. I did a very basic rosebud illustration and just did it with Schminke, Daniel Smith, and at the bottom mid-yellow and St. Petersburg. And I hope the light is great. I'm going to zoom that way so you can see that actually this one, Schminke, is the least brightest one. I hope you can see and it's not cutting off. So there you go. And Daniel Smith is my favorite. It's just got these beautiful colors going on right here. And then mid-yellow is almost unrealistically bright. It's very juicy. And then St. Petersburg, so out of the four, I would say that Daniel Smith and St. Petersburg are definitely my favorite watercolors. So at that point I spoke to a friend of mine, and she said that, by the way, I realized why you are not happy with your schminke is because you have the student grade. So at that point I then realized that I made a mistake, and it was self-explanatory why these colors didn't flow as beautifully and why they were muted and not as bright. So I went ahead, I think later, and bought the Horadam watercolors, which I haven't had a chance to try out here. So here we have Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydra Set 1, which I was just experimenting, trying to see how I can get them to work. I don't like this green, it's the phthalo green that comes in that collection, so I went and ordered a separate bottle of sap green, which is much better. A little note here. Next page we have as well Dr. P.H. Martin's, again still trying and getting them to work, and I found out that for me it works best if I put the color, drop the color in the center, and then just, or whatever I want it, darkest, deepest, and then just wash it out with water. I felt that it works quite well this way for me, and I called it the Rose Garland. Now over here I then went to Daniel Smith, and I thought I have given myself a break from Daniel Smith, and so I wanted to go back and see what purples I can mix, because I haven't purchased any purples. And these are the purples you can see over here. I'm not going to go through them because I fear that the video is going to be a bit too long. And then the reds and the greens. So some of these colors, particularly this one, the Pyrrole Red mixed with Rich Green Gold, seems to come out very similar to Quinacridone Gold, but not as beautiful. So again, these are the neutrals that I did not purchase, and I thought, you know, if I need them I can just mix them myself. Here is a Daniel Smith orchid illustration, and I'm not happy with it at all. At this point I'm still not happy with my watercolor skills. It's just overworked, and it looks more like a pencil drawing, like more than watercolor. So it lost its opacity and not opacity, transparency, and it just doesn't look great to me. If I would have done this illustration now, I would have used a different technique. Then at this point I am on the summer vacations, and this was the first time I picked up the watercolors and thought, I think this was a couple of days into the holidays, and I thought, let me start painting. And in my mom's garden there are beautiful roses, and so I decided to do them. And as you can see, I had a lot of trouble. I just could not get anything to look good, so I was not happy with that. Then I discovered that I had a pocket palette of the St. Petersburg watercolors, which I swatched on this side. So it's the 12 colors, and I then went ahead and tried to illustrate some of these flowers also from the garden, and I was much happier with them. And I used the St. Petersburg here. I added this a bit later. The same friend, Marina, if you're watching, thank you for Scarlet again. She gave me that red, which I confused with another red, which I thought I didn't have. I did have this one, but it's back home, not in this palette, so I'm still enjoying Scarlet Red. It's a great addition, and so I just went ahead and I mixed Scarlet with the Cadmium Yellow Medium and Cadmium Lemon to see what oranges I can get. And then finally I kind of start to get the feel and discover my style, I think, is on the next of the upcoming pages. So I just stuck on to St. Petersburg because I found it was much easier for some reason, and just went on and kind of whatever flowers I could find in the garden I just started illustrating. Here is Lavender. The other one I don't know what it's called, but this one is Lavender. And then I went on and illustrated lilies. I quite like this one. As you can see, these bits here is exactly what I want, leaving some white of the page, and that sort of is a style that I really like. And then still St. Petersburg, all of them. There's a yellow one which I'm not too keen on, but I do like this green part here. And let's see, we're coming to the end, last two pages. This is where I really liked how I achieved the watercolor. I love this bit, how it flows into the other color and transitions. You know, all these bits to me are very beautiful. And the foliage as well, very happy with that. So this is where I can 100% say I'm happy. Let me just zoom out. This is what it looks like. And then I also painted on the other page, I painted this tomato and this cucumber. So I quite like how the so this is just scarlet, no other reds were mixed in, and I'm really happy, except for this bit here behind the green leaves. They're a bit wrong. They need to be all one color, and they're just kind of, some of them are lighter, darker kind of thing, just doesn't really work. But I could go back in and just try and fix that area, but the rest of it I am quite happy with. And the cucumber is a baby small one, and it looks very nice. I like how I could achieve the texture. Obviously it was a bit more difficult than a smooth tomato, but I did overwork the flower. And yeah, so that is the style that I have come to. I really enjoy it and I feel quite comfortable. So as you can see, I have come to the half of the sketchbook to kind of do it. And as I said before in my previous videos, consistency is the key. The more you paint, and no matter, it doesn't matter if you make mistakes, because it's actually good, you learn from them. And if you hate something, just don't tear the page, just continue going and you will get there eventually. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit long, but I hope it was quite useful, and there will be a part 2. I don't know if I will finish it on this vacation or back home, but stay tuned. Thanks for watching.